Welcome to The Explainer. So right off the bat today, we are unpacking a truly bizarre contradiction happening right now in the tech world. Because if you look on paper, artificial intelligence is experiencing this unprecedented, explosive usage. I mean, the numbers are astronomical. Yet at the exact same time, its actual public popularity is absolutely tanking. So how exactly does a technology get used by almost everyone but loved by practically no one?
Okay, let's dive into this. Think back with me for a second to late 2022. When ChatGPT first launched, it felt a little bit like magic, right? You typed a prompt and boom, a fully formed, coherent essay just appeared out of nowhere. But I really want to ask you, is that magical spell kind of wearing off? Well, according to some really fascinating new data and insights from tech experts, the answer for most everyday folks is a resounding yes.
To figure out why this is happening, here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to cover the popularity paradox, the illusion of choice, this concept called software brain, flattening humans into data, and finally, the political pushback. All right, Section 1, the popularity paradox. Let's look at the public opinion problem. The tech industry loves to project this image of universal excitement, right? But get this. Recent data actually shows that AI's net approval rating among Americans is worse than ICE, the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Now, regardless of where you stand politically, ICE is historically a highly polarizing government agency that draws a lot of public disapproval. So for a consumer tech product to poll worse than a deeply contentious government agency, that is incredibly revealing. To make sense of this, we can look at what Nilay Patel, the editor-in-chief of The Verge, recently said. He argues that this polling isn't your standard tech review. It's actually a list of perceived threats. People look at AI and they're asking, hey, is this a threat to my job? Is it a threat to my happiness, to my actual success as a human being? You've got tech CEOs openly talking about replacing lawyers and accountants without offering any real promise of what everyday Americans get in return. So naturally, people are viewing this as a massive disruption to their livelihoods. And that fear? It translates into hard numbers. Today, a striking 2/3 of Americans believe the risks of AI actually outweigh the potential benefits. I mean, people are worried about feeding their kids and keeping their jobs. Right now, AI feels like a direct threat to that security, and it offers almost zero individual control.
Which brings us to Section 2, the illusion of choice.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the core contradiction. If 2/3 of the country thinks AI is a risk, why do we keep hearing about these record-breaking usage statistics? Are people just waking up saying they hate AI and then using it anyway? The tech industry loves to point to numbers like 900 million weekly free users on ChatGPT that prove we love it. But the tiny, tiny fraction of people who are actually paying for it tells a completely different story. That paying fraction is nowhere near enough to make these massive AI models profitable. The vast majority of us are simply not making an affirmative choice to pull out our wallets for this. Because the reality is, we aren't really choosing these tools. They're just relentlessly shoved in front of us. It's an unavoidable integration. You don't choose Google's AI search results. They just hijack the top of your screen. You open your social media and it's flooded with low-quality, AI-generated slop. Even movie posters are sparking debates over whether an algorithm made them. We're all experiencing these products, but usually in a way that just degrades our daily digital experience. The usage numbers look huge simply because the tech is inescapable. Let's move on to Section 3, diagnosing software brain. So why is the industry forcing this onto a reluctant public? Well, Nilay Patel calls this underlying philosophy software brain. It's essentially the tech industry's deep-seated desire for humans to conform our behavior to computers. Think about it. Tech companies don't really want to build messy, unpredictable tools for complex humans. They'd much rather you just act like a predictable database. Because if your life is just a series of legible data points, they can do what they do best, write code to manipulate that database and generate massive financial value. All right, Section 4, flattening humans into data. So the crucial point is captured perfectly by Patel right here. They are trying to flatten us into data. See, a lot of the internet is already a database. YouTube is a database of videos. Spotify is a database of music. So the tech industry looks around and thinks, man, if only real, everyday human interactions were databases too, our AI would have more context and we could make so much more money. Prioritizing this data collection over what consumers actually need, that is the new playbook. And here is exactly how they are trying to pull it off. Step 1, introduce these new always-on AI devices that you wear on your clothes or your wrist. Step 2, use them to constantly record your conversations, your dinners, your Zoom meetings. Step 3, funnel all that deeply personal information into massive back-end databases. And step 4, write algorithms to extract financial value from your newly simulated life. They're literally trying to turn human unpredictability into a modeled software machine. But of course, this crashes hard into reality. You have the first-order effect, which is the tech world's desire to turn our lives into predictable databases. But then you have the second-order effect. They now have a catastrophic marketing problem on their hands because humans absolutely hate this. We don't want to be constantly recorded. We don't want our family dinners analyzed by algorithms. The industry treats this like a minor PR issue, totally ignoring that their core product vision actually really terrifies normal people. Let's move to and see how this builds. Section 5. The political pushback. When everyday consumers feel totally stripped of their agency by inescapable tech, that frustration inevitably boils over into the real physical world. Just look at this. A staggering 7 in 10 Americans now actively oppose data center construction, according to recent Gallup polling. These massive facilities eat up insane amounts of power and water to run AI models. So for everyday citizens who feel totally helpless against the algorithms on their phones, blocking a physical data center in their own town, that's one of the few tangible ways they can actually fight back. Think about how we got to this political flashpoint. In the past, the government totally dropped the ball on regulating social media, something former President Obama actually warned we shouldn't repeat with AI. Present day, we're seeing consumer sentiment toward AI plummeting to an all-time low. And looking to the future, well, politicians are realizing that physically blocking a data center is a highly visible, incredibly effective way to win votes. It really comes down to the basic math of politics. As our source material points out, politicians on both sides of the aisle might have struggled to regulate invisible algorithms before, but they absolutely know how to stand in front of a giant, power-hungry construction site and just say no. Opposing out-of-touch tech billionaires who are pushing unpopular technology, that is a guaranteed bipartisan political winner. As long as the public distrusts AI, politicians will leverage that sentiment to maintain power. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Will consumer pushback finally unplug the software brain? If we refuse to pay for these tools, and politicians keep aggressively blocking the physical infrastructure needed to run them, the tech industry might be forced to completely rethink its whole trajectory. They might actually have to stop trying to flatten us into data and start building tools that respect our humanity. Definitely something to think about the next time a shiny new AI feature pops up on your screen. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.